Hey folks, and welcome to the Truck King YouTube channel. In the world of off-road, we have a tendency to focus on what is new, shiny, and exciting. But the truth is, the most common comment we get is people just want a machine that is reliable and trustworthy, and that's where this 2022 Yamaha Grizzly comes in. Yamaha doesn't get sucked into that race of crazy horsepower. They just keep on bringing out the same old reliable machine year after year, and in this video, we're gonna put it to the test. Let's start this one with the Walkaround. Still powering this Grizzly is a single-cylinder 686cc engine, sending all that power through a CVT. Now the model we're looking at in this review is the Special Edition, and that brings along 4 unique features. First of all, a factory installed Warn winch up front, unique aluminum wheels, which just make it look nicer, a 27-inch set of Maxxis Zillas, that's a nice tire upgrade, and then of course we just get the graphics package, which looks pretty cool here on the Grizzly, so I'll put it back to you. Even though it hasn't changed a lot, what do you think of the styling on this ATV? Looking at its size, again, things haven't changed. So this Grizzly comes in with an overall length of 81.5 inches, a width at 49.2 inches, 50 inches of height, and a 49.2 inch wheelbase. Now, when you're talking about suspension travel, you're getting 7.6 inches in the front and 9.1 inches in the rear. Let's talk about practicality here on this Grizzly. So first of all, you do get the storage bin that comes in here between your legs, and that is quite deep, which is nice. Now next up, you get this threaded storage on this side. That's cool because it's going to be watertight. You should keep things like important documents in there. Not quite as deep, but still nice to have that threaded cap. And then finally we move to the back end, and there is a little storage back here underneath this light. Pops open and you get a little trunk. So there's a decent amount of onboard storage right here with the Grizzly. And then if you do want to hook up a trailer, you get that 2-inch hitch right there. And this model is good to tow up to 1,300 pounds. And make sure you stay tuned because soon enough, we're going to put that to the test. When it comes to the cockpit and operation, things are pretty simple here. You do get a pretty nice LCD screen down here in the center. Gives you all sorts of different information. Hour meter, voltmeter, oil temp, a clock, and then you have your different trips too, so you can track where you're going. There's your fuel. It's a nice looking screen. Over here on your right handlebar, you have your 4-wheel drive settings. So if you leave that button out like it is right now, you're in 2-wheel drive. Pushing it in will pop you into 4-wheel drive. And then if you want to lock things up, you move that over. So that's nice and easy to use. Over here on the left, you have your kill switch. This is for your winch. There's the kill switch to turn it on. There's your lights. And down here, the override button, you can hold that down. It'll override that rev limiter. And then, of course, obviously, you got the brakes on both handlebars.
All right, folks, time to hit the trail. And first off, let's nail the throttle. Big complaints about Yamaha is they don't have a 1000cc ATV, but to me this engine is more than enough power. It jumps off the line in 4-wheel drive, strong mid-range. It loses some at the top end compared to some of those other big bore machines, but besides that I have no issue with the power plant, and the amount of torque it's putting out down low is excellent. You can also always throw it into the low range, and that's going to make sure you really get the torque out of it. Okay folks, now we're going back into the mud pit, and this time we're actually going to try to get out of the pit once we're in the middle, because that really proves to me when the tires are good, when a vehicle can jump out of these ruts. So let's see what she's got. Okay, ready? Come on, baby. She's gonna do it! Yes! Took a bit of riding. I thought I was going over for a second. But again, these Zillas are able to climb right out of those ruts and then drop me right back in. And that just goes to show you, that's a good set of mud tires. Talking about aggressive riding, this is another area too where Yamaha, they don't play the game with Polaris and with Can-Am. Those brands have not only gone for high horsepower, but they've really increased the wheel travel on their ATVs and the width, so you're able to just fly at high speeds. Yamaha doesn't do that. They don't get sucked into those games. So this thing doesn't have any extra wheel travel. I don't think they're interested in bringing it here. Now what that means is that when you're absolutely ripping down the trail, it can get a little bit rough. You can definitely find the limits of this Grizzly pretty quickly, and that just means that you have to start compensating with your body and using your knees as suspension, whereas those other machines with the long travel suspension, they're going to do a better job on their own of soaking up that trail. Talk about towing with this Grizzly. So the official tow rating here is 1,300 pounds according to Yamaha, but we definitely overloaded it. That's probably about 2,000 pounds worth of wooden sailboat and steel trailer behind me. And of course, yes, Yamaha wouldn't tell you to tow this, but I really wanted to see what would happen if I was to go big. And the answer is the Grizzly will absolutely do it, but yes, it's going to struggle. And it wasn't a power issue. I had loads of power. The issue is with the suspension. You can basically see it. All of the tongue weight back there. My rear suspension is absolutely on the bump stops. There is nothing left there. And consequently, the front is lifting. Now, it's lifting enough that the steering is light, but I still have steering. So I think my takeaway from doing this overloaded test is that if you had to move a big trailer with your little ATV across a yard, down the street a little bit, across a field, you're gonna be fine. You definitely don't want to overload it to this level though and take it any long distance or on a road. But if you gotta move 2 grand's worth of sailboat, the Grizzly will do it.
Well folks, we're coming to the end of this review. Now I've gotten this Grizzly thoroughly muddy and it's time to clean it. And luckily I don't have to clean it. I've got my buddy Josh here from TLC Supplies.
What's up?
And he's gonna show off some of their off-road specific cleaning products. So what have you got for us today, Josh?
We are gonna be using dedicated off-road products, and this is gonna be perfect for not only your trucks, but also your off-roading vehicles like ATVs and side-by-sides. All right, so what we're gonna be using is P&S Off-Road Mud Buster. This is basically gonna be the pre-treatment on the body of this Yamaha Grizzly, because we wanna loosen up the dirt. That way when it comes to the pressure washing, it's gonna be much easier to blast off all this mud and get it off as much as we can. So now that we've sprayed on P&S Off-Road Mud Buster, it's loosening up all the mud. Now we're ready to basically hit it with a pressure washer, and that'll make my job much easier. All right, so we're gonna be using P&S Off-Road Wide Open. This is basically gonna be the contact wash solution and the pre-wash foam solution to get rid of all the rest of the mud that's been basically sitting there. All right, so now that the ATV is washed, we're gonna hit it with P&S Off-Road Full Send. This is gonna be your total dressing. What it's gonna do, it's gonna protect all the high contact areas and basically give it that black shine again. All right, everyone, so we hit this ATV with all of the P&S Off-Road detailing lineup of products: Total Send, the Quick Detailer, Wide Open, and Mud Buster. So Steven, what'd you think, man?
Man, this thing is gorgeous. It's even cleaner now than when we picked it up. I do have a bit of bad news though. I still have more shooting to do, so I appreciate you cleaning it, but I have to go get it even muddier now. Sorry, dude. See ya!
Wait.
Well, folks, I'm off the trail now, and this Grizzly leaves me with one kind of overriding thought. It's a solid, fun ATV. You just saw that, but it also has this kind of boring image. Yamaha's not pushing the envelope when it comes to technology or power. They just keep on producing the same old solid, reliable ATV year after year, tweaking it a little bit, things like the tires, but honestly, things haven't really changed here. So if you're looking at something like the Grizzly, you have to ask yourself the question, are you okay with something that's kind of old and boring, but also reliable and tested? Or do you need something flashy and exciting? Because if you do, yeah, you probably want to go to the other brands. But if you're okay riding a machine that's going to deliver good performance day after day, you're going to want to check out this Yamaha Grizzly.